I have all the evidence and my STBXW still has the audacity to deny everything. Part 5. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. In the meantime, my lawyer sends me an email detailing their meeting, and says that she insisted on knowing the details of what I knew. Weird. So yesterday, before I entered the hotel, I started recording video, and had a separate audio recorder in my jacket pocket, so that I had proof of what happened in the room, and where I went after. My whole day is accounted for. I go inside. Tell her this is her time, so she can tell me the truth. But if she starts raising her voice or lies, I will leave and she'll never hear from me again. She starts telling me about her days in detail. I tell her I only care about the parts where she met him. She's staring at my eyes, and doesn't blink the whole time. After each set of sentences she pauses, as if she was probing me for a reaction to what she had just said. I ask her a few questions. She keeps going. I ask a few more questions. She contradicts things she said before. I double down on those questions before realizing that it's not worth it because I don't know the answer either, so I can't just exit the room. I tell her sure, we'll get back to it. We get to her retelling of the final night. I ask her how does a guy go to her room and fall asleep on her bed, given that the room is cold, and how do you just fall asleep if you were previously sitting on the bed talking? I asked her what her intentions were when she asked him to her room. She tells me it was just a talk, because she couldn't sleep and neither could him, which she couldn't possibly know, and when she was sleeping, he'd go away and they would both go to sleep separately. I asked her if she was 100% sure. She said yes. I said goodbye and that my lawyers would be in touch. I left the hotel and didn't look back. I knew, from her messages, she invited him specifically to only sleep and not cause any trouble, which was more flirty than an actual demand. This was the final, undeniable confirmation she's just a horrible person. She came all the way down to my city, bought train tickets, booked a hotel room, for what? To try to gaslight me one more time, but in person? She's more fucked up than I thought, and I want to be as far away from that as possible. After I left, she sent me a few emails asking me to go back because she had a gift for our cat. I was long gone by then. It was later that night when she sent me yet another email with the truth trademark. She admitted she invited him to go and sleep on her bed, although she mentioned she called him when she actually texted him. She didn't want to sleep alone, but she also didn't want to fuck him or kiss him, and she didn't. They talked, cuddled, and fell asleep. And then she woke up at one point and woke him up so he'd leave. She said that probably the alcohol wore off or the guilt overconsumed her. You know what's funny? She asked him to delete all of her messages on his phone, so neither of them remember what they actually wrote. I'm the only person with their full convo, and what was made very obvious through there. Back at her hotel room I asked her to show me the convo with her AP, that took place after I told her I'd be getting a divorce. He was telling her to call the police or the firemen for her to get inside the house. Saying I couldn't do this, asking if she needed help, etc. It made me so much more disgusted at the whole thing. Today I woke up. Relieved? I still have a tiny knot in my stomach, but my sadness and compassion for her were replaced with what I think is anger. And that's an easier emotion to handle. It drives me forward to move on and get over this because now I see through her facade and how colossal of a bullet I've dodged. I might even call it closure. Update end. Here are some of the best comments from our community. A prime example for trickle truth. Your whole story can really be used to teach people in the future about what trickle truthing is. With each time that you hear something from her, she confesses that she did something more. From calling you during her trip and acting as if nothing happened to finding out that she flirted with a couple of guys and finally her asking one of them to spend the night with her. Would be interesting to know what actually really happened, but I guess that you will never find out, and in the end, it probably also doesn't matter. You probably learned more about who she is in the days since you saw her conversation than in all the years you have been with her before. What your lawyer told you is probably her attempt to figure out what she has to confess and what she can keep to herself. Focus on yourself now and on your way forward because that is what truly matters. I wish you all the best, stay strong. Here is the second story. Girlfriend admitted to cheating but she gave me an ultimatum. Me and my girlfriend, Elle, and I have an amazing relationship. She honestly is the love of my life. She's kind, sweet, and just the most amazing person ever. We have known each other since we were teens and became a couple during our time studying. We both graduated and got well-paying jobs, me as a forensic specialist and her as a business admin. We both travel a lot for work here more so than me, but we always keep in contact during this time and make an effort to spend time with each other regardless. She went on a work trip the other week and everything was normal. We started in contact, and when my last phone call with her ended, she said she was going to sleep. The next day when I tried to check in, she didn't respond to my messages or calls. It got the point where I started getting worries, but she did eventually. She responded saying she's fine, wanted some time to herself, and that she would contact me once she got back. She came home 3 days later. Her work trip was only 2 days. I was meant to go to the airport to pick her up, but her brother did instead. She told me we need to sit down and talk. I had a sinking feeling in my chest, and she told me to let her speak without any interruption. She told me she got drunk after hanging up on me that night and went to a party, then hooked up with a guy. She said was sorry, she was drunk and whatever. I decided that she would understand whether to break up or stay together. But if we do stay together, she doesn't ever want this mentioned ever again. She said she'll respect whatever I decide, but to know that she loves me and always will no matter what happens next. The only thing I asked her was it consensual? She didn't answer for a few seconds and almost looked as if she wanted to cry when she answered yes. But it was almost as if she had to muster the courage to say it. Here's where the story doesn't fully line up. My girlfriend never goes to parties/clubs without a friend she knows or trusts. The entire time I have known her, she's only been drunk a handful of times, all of which at friends' houses where we were staying the night or living closely by. She's not the sort of person to flirt with other guys. She's the person who goes to the corner and speaks with the one person who she knows, so it's hard for me to believe that she went to a party and got drunk. Am I reading too much into this and just looking for a world where she didn't cheat on me? She doesn't have a vindictive bone in her body. I am currently staying in her house. We moved in together, while she's staying with her brother. Before this we were planning on buying a house together, and once that was sorted I was even going to propose. I'm so lost on what to do. If anyone can help with this, it would be greatly appreciated. Here are some of the best comments from our community. Wow, that's such manipulative bullshit. She's basically downplaying what she did and demanding you to get over it. That's fucking wild. The audacity of this woman to deny you your right to be upset with her because it's inconvenient for her. You'll probably never get the full story from her, but what you do know is that she lied to you about what she was doing that night, and went to a place where she knew men would be flirting with her. She's untrustworthy, and she's just wanting you to accept that what she did is a mistake. She sounds so unremorseful in her confession. Every response she gave seemed like a calculated answer to avoid drama and uncomfortable discussion. I'd leave this unfaithful, lying bitch. She belongs to the street, man, I'm not going to lie. I would wonder how and why she ended up cheating, but it doesn't matter either way. She came forward. I respect that, but it makes you wonder what else she has hidden. Like feelings, thoughts, etc. I would consider my next move wisely if I were you, cause if you forgive her and let her get away with it by never speaking on it, which will still be in the back of your mind, I don't care what anybody says, most definitely it can happen again. I know for a fact, you're gonna feel insecure if you forgive her and move on. But you don't want to lose her either, but sometimes the things we don't want are the things we need. It's your call, but I'm just telling you, man, she cheated, while you were being faithful. Punish her as you see fit, but don't let her get away with it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.